Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, definitely, man. Y'all need to come visit me out here in these backwoods, Alabama. The only time it's fun in Alabama is college football season.
There you go.
Outside of that, man, is rough.
I'm sure.
I'm pretty much in the boonies in New Hampshire as well, so I feel.
What do y'all do there? There's a lot of snow skiing, right?
Oh, dude, New Hampshire? No, it's summertime now. It's humid as hell right now, man.
I mean that's New Hampshire's like a. Trying to set this up. Sorry.
We got a few mountains, but it's personally me. I hate the cold, so I'm kind of an inside guy during the wintertime.
Where's Biden live? Oh, he's in New Hampshire.
Oh, I don't even know, to be honest.
I mean, Delaware. Yeah. That's right. So New Hampshire. Where's New Hampshire exactly? We have a rest
It's right above Massachusetts and under Maine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right there. All right. Yeah.
We're stuck right in the middle there.
Ain't that something?
It's wild here, man.
Maine's one of the dirtiest. It used to be. I ain't been there in a couple of minutes. It used to be one of the dirtiest places. Not dirty as far as like dirt on the streets. I mean, like a lot of bad stuff happened. At least our experiences in Portland. Bangor wasn't as bad, but Portland, man, we saw some stuff. I guess your first impression, is going to be lasting. And the first time Sean and I had to wrestle there, we pulled into our hotel that night, and there was about a 6-foot concrete a wall with a fence above, on top of that, a 4-foot fence on top of that. And we heard this girl screaming, and it was like not the good kind of screaming out in the other parking lot. So we went and we're like, what the heck's going on? We looked at it, and the guy was trying to rape her right in the parking lot. She got up and he chased her. We don't know if he caught her or not because we couldn't get over the damn fence. So we ran inside to call the police real quick. And then they were gone on time everybody got there. But that was our introduction to Portland.
Yikes.
That's a hell of an introduction right there.
Yeah. First time. But it was just always, I hate saying it like this because I do have a couple friends up there. And one wifey, I forgot her name though. Delaney's her last name. What the heck's her first? Well, maybe she ain't watching. But she was a pretty good girl too. But when we would do like appearances, like you go to a mall, Worcester, Mass was the same way. You go like for a 2-hour signing, and you know how you put your arm around, and hugging people and and taking pictures and photos. At the end of that 2 hours, you were sweating nasty. I mean, because they would get dirt. It was like even the girls were motor mechanics.
Worcester is a crazy place, man. I'll tell you that.
But you can have fun almost anywhere.
If you can't find any, you make your own.
Yep. We had a lot of practice of that. Where are you guys at right this moment? Where's the studio? You're in New Hampshire?
He's in New Hampshire. I'm in Wisconsin.
What part of Wisconsin?
I'm just south of Green Bay.
Oh, so you're heading Milwaukee way?
Yeah, I'm north of Milwaukee. Yep.
Are you? Pat Tanaka, I think he's in Milwaukee tonight and Chicago tomorrow, the next night, doing seminars. He's doing a couple seminars.
Nice.
He's worse than me with the bad luck. One of my wifeys there in Milwaukee had to send him some money because he got kicked out of the Amtrak train. So he said, Pat, my boy never changes, man. It's for years. The stuff that he will, I don't want to say con about, is he uses the stuff that actually happens to me. And he's like, oh, yeah, that happened to me too. Yeah, she was saying, well, yeah, I sent him. I said, how much did you send him? She didn't want to tell me. She was like, just enough, for the train ride. I said, how much was that? She goes, well, it was a round trip, which means, that means, okay, a little more. So I said, okay, since you aren't going to tell me more or less than 500. She said less. So I had to go down the line. 250. She goes, close.
Play to give up prices right, like.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
That's supposedly he got there tonight, and so they're doing a seminar somewhere there in Milwaukee.
Nice.
Who runs shows there in Milwaukee now? I used to do Frankie DeFalco shows. There was somebody else that ran pretty regular though. Oh shoot, I can't think. And then there's hell, I'm supposed to be there next month. Some his name. Hope he don't see this. They, I'm gonna have to call all my friends and say don't watch this. He runs a bar too. I guess he's manager of a bar or something, but he does in bar shows. Then has a meet and greets afterwards, whatever. Shoot, not Randy, Russ. Shit. I better stop.
I know the big ones. Bruce City Wrestling, obviously.
Yeah, Bruce City. That's
right.
Frankie, I think.
Yep, that's Frankie's. Yep. And then you've got Badgerland is another one that's kind of big around here. But yeah, those are kind of. And then there's ICW Milwaukee, which is kind of the more like hardcore wrestling.
ICW.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get up with them. They sound familiar though. It's a hardcore one.
Yeah, they've been around for a while, but yeah, they're definitely one of those like, oh, we're insane 8 like late tube matches, things like that. So
yeah, we know them.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna we've got obviously some questions for you. Then if you're cool with it, we would like to get you to do a little bumper for us. Just a little bit. I'm Marty Jannetty. This is you listen to the Rundown Wrestling Network.
What's it called? Rundown Wrestling?
Rundown Wrestling Network. Yep.
Which one else? Troy.
That's me.
Hey, Troy. What's your other brother? What's your name? The other brother?
Oh, Matt.
Chris. Matt. Okay, what's up, Matt? Where you got? You growing that amble beard?
Hell yeah, man. Oh yeah, I grow it after him. Actually,
you got to get
loved it.
Mannerisms. That was sad what happened with him, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's
do you have you almost got his hair if you spiked it upwards a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me that quite often when it's a little bit long. I actually just had the haircut, but when I spike it, if I put the dark shades on, I think I'd be all right.
I'm still here. I just got to turn these lights back on. What the fuck just happened? Man, hey, I was doing a podcast not 2 days ago, but week Tuesday ago, and the damn right in the middle of it, I'm out in the woods out here, right? I stayed with my sister because of I had ankle surgery, and I can't really walk much, so she's taking care of me at her place. So I can get up and move around, help myself out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting out on the porch and had everything set up nice, and we got into the interview, and a damn coyote come running up on the porch, just like he knew he was on cue, knocked the camera over, and I got mad because it took so long to set up, going through shit like this, lights going out in the car. I'm sitting out in the car. The mosquitoes here in the country, they're like the birds. They'll pick you up and carry you. But yeah, that coyote, man, that was there. Everybody was, you could see when he first came up and bumped, you could see just a part of him. And like the fans were listening, watching in, and I was like, get your ass. And he took off. And everybody was like, damn, he listened to you. He actually left. He actually left. That coyote didn't have a chance. Oh, man, we did so many problems. The connection kept cutting out, which I'm happy it hasn't yet with us. But sure. That's why I'm out in the car, because on the porch, it's watching how much the signal right now is getting a decent signal. Yeah, let's do some call-ins or some of your own questions.
Sure. All right. So when the Rockers split in the infamous barbershop vignette, before the unfortunate super kick, you turned to Sean and you said something. And we've always wondered what exactly it was that you said to Sean in that moment.
I asked him, did he realize when he super kicked me? You talking about when he picked me up?
No, when you guys had your arms up before, it kind of like teasing. So you turned towards him and said something and turned back.
I think I told him that he had a little tip of his joint sticking out his ear. One time, truthfully, me and my buddy Dave Peterson, DJ Peterson, he wrestled as way back. He died in a motorcycle back in '94. He was in WWE, but for a while, WWF back then. But he was AWA with us, went up with Vern Gagne. And what was that called? Not All Star Wrestling, or maybe it was. Whatever. What the hell was this? Anyway, ESPN TV. But they had asked me and Dave to do a commercial, like a little 30-second to a minute little promo about kids staying away from drugs and alcohol. And they came up and said, "Hey Dave, hey Marty," because we were the younger partier guys. They got us, figuring that would connect with the kids better than the older guys, like Nick Bockwinkel or something. And so they said, go, hurry, you can do a 30 try to get a minute. A minute of what? Who we wrestling? No, it's a public service thing. Just tell the kids not to drink and not to do drugs. And we looked at each other like we're high as hell. So we went and did it. And we had no warning, no think about it, just like hurry up. And we struggled through it. Old Dave said at one time, he goes, "Look at some of my friends, they'll be doing some certain thing, and I'll go back 3 days later and they're still doing it." It was obvious what he was talking about. Well, we watched, they liked it, and they put it in, where they had to put it, inserted it. The time we looked at it, you could see the tip of, that's why I just thought of that, man. See the tip of his blunt sticking out of his hair. I'm like, this right there. He goes, "Jesus Christ, hopefully nobody sees it." We're doing a say no to drugs with a joint sticking out the guy.
Well, so speaking of which, what is the best backstage rib that you were involved with or witnessed?
The best one?
Yeah, your favorite.
Oh shoot, there were so many favorites. Some of them were brutal though. They would have been good if they wouldn't have been brutal.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example of one that was kind of brutal, but Tammy or Sonny, she started getting a little cocky and arrogant and getting too much too soon, as we say in the business. And went to her head a little bit, and the guys needed to calm her down a little bit. And over in Europe, y'all might have heard about it because the story got around. The Davy Boy, British Bulldog, Davy Boy Smith. We have that wrestler's diet, and everybody's trying to do good, so they're eating spaghetti, the sauce on the side, the grilled chicken, nothing on it, salad with the dressing on the side. Every damn day almost. Sonny got her, she got her spaghetti with nothing on it. She went to the bathroom, and Davey took a turd and put it underneath her pile of spaghetti over
my God.
in her plate. And then she started putting a little bit of sauce on and mixing it in. And she was seeing the chunks, and she was told the way she said, "I didn't want meat sauce. You put meat."
Oh my God.
She actually took a bite or two, and then she's like, "Something ain't right." And then she's like, lifted it up, and she could see the rest of the whole turd still there. She had a fit, man. She had a fit. I think she quit the tour. She came home from the tour. She was going to quit. I think they talked her out of it. But another one involving her, to just give you an example of how the boys can be when you act wrong. Again, she was just being a little too much, and all she had to do is go out and smile. We're getting our ass busted in the ring. Glory. So remember the Godwins, Phineas and what's his name? But they Henry, and they had loved them brothers too, man. Good guys. They one of them's boys wrestling. I can't think of which one, but anyway, they remember they slap. They do the slap thing with the bucket. So Phineas come in, and he put the bucket by the toilet, and he told everybody. He said, and he put a bunch of they used to the slop was like lettuce and water, mixed and swirled around. And they had the lettuce in there, and they said, "Hey, everybody, the bucket's right there by the toilet." Everybody lined up at the bathroom door to piss in it. and I think again, Davey or somebody shit in it, but most everybody peed in it. I mean, it was a line. That's how much everybody was mad at her. I mean, it wasn't hating her. It was just mad at her.
Yeah.
And trying to calm her little ass down, and so, everybody, like I said, that was the longest line waiting to piss. Old Virgil got in there. Old Virgil stood there for a while, and we're like, Virgil, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm going to jack off in it. I'm going to get her one way or another. And sure enough, though, man, when they threw it on her that night, we're all in the dressing room watching the closed circuit, the TV back there, waiting for her, right? Waiting. And they get her with it real good, and her hair goes back, and you can see her smelling it. And she just didn't have no idea. And I think somebody told Chris, her boyfriend, or it might have been her husband, Chris Candido.
Yep.
And he went and told her, and she had a fit again. So now they done shit on her. Now they done pissed on her.
My God.
She kind of straightened out a little bit after that, because she kind of figured out, okay, maybe they're mad at me.
Oh my God.
But Sean and I got, I like to say let go. Some people would say fired. But I think it was more of a let go. But after our first day, Vince brought us in his office and said, we'll give y'all some time to mature, because he thought the story got blown out of proportion of what really happened that first night in. And he, I'm gonna let y'all mature. We were like, no, we grew up overnight. We're all right. And he says, oh, you don't understand. I'm doing you a favor. And me and Sean were like, how you doing us a favor letting us go? We worked our ass to get here. And he said, no, you understand. The boys don't want you here. If the boys don't want you here, you don't want to be here. I'm doing you a favor. At that point, we thought that was a bullshit thing. And but as when we come back later, we saw how the boys act up. We saw what to do. We're like, oh, he was doing us a favor. That kind of stuff. You know who got treated rough was I think it was Mark. Was it Mark Youngblood? I think his name was Chief Strombow's son. And he come in, and Chief was, I love Chief. Y'all remember Strombo? You remember him?
Oh, absolutely.
I loved him to death, man. But he would tell you like it is. He's kind of didn't sugarcoat things. Him and I liked each other. He didn't like Sean too much, which was sort of a common theme back then. Well, Sean was rough back then. He's he's straightened up a good bit, and he's admitted it. He had his problems back then. But yeah, he just Strongbow had a little bitty knife, man, about a 1 inch little. You clean your fingernails out with or something, right? And he would always play with it, like when you're joking with him and you get over on him, he'd reach for that little pocket knife, right? We'd all laugh about it, and so he thought Sean was kidding one day. Oh shit, here goes the lights again. Hold on. He thought Sean was kidding. Whatever Sean said something smart ass, he thought he was kidding. He reached for his pocket knife like he does. He never did it. He just like reached, it was sort of like saying, don't make kids. And Sean, he just, why don't you pull it out, you old man? I'll stick it up your ass. And then we all, just got dead quiet. Everybody's like, because most of us like Chief. So, but some of them, they thought he was a stooge because he would go tell the office, if you did something bad. Which you shouldn't have done something bad. but yeah, so when his son came in, his son Mark was a good worker. I think it was Mark. It might not have been, but y'all remember him at all? Kind of tall, like 6'2", thin, red hair, kind of a thin, good build. He was a solid worker. He should be. His dad was, but he was riding with Brooklyn Brawler, and all the boys, every show he'd come in, he had a Halliburton. You remember what the Halliburton? Metal suitcases, the combination. He left it open the first night on the road.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah, he got. I think the Bulldogs dumped a pile of fish guts underneath his clothes and left it in there. One of the guys, I don't know if it was Matt Osborne, God rest his soul. I think he just sat there and peed in it. But
Mark Young.
Mark Young.
Yep.
Yeah, he come up. What'd you do? Just search it?
Because it was bothering me too, and because I knew it, but I couldn't remember it.
Yeah, so he realized like, okay, the guys like the rib. He didn't know they were doing it out of anger at his dad.
Mhm.
He just thought, ribbing me. Okay, ha. So he locked his bag. The combo, he had it open that time. He locked it. So second day he was free, nothing happened. Third day, now he's riding with Brooklyn Brawler. And he had it closed, but I think one of the Bulldogs did a lot of stuff. They were able to pick it open, and I don't remember what they put a bunch of damn I forget what it was, but they loaded up his suitcase. Oh, I know what they did. They took it in the shower and turned the water in the shower on. Oh. So when he came back, his suitcase opened out, both sides were full of water.
Oh.
like he had his clothes in a wash machine. And so with that, he thought he told Brawler, because Brawler told us, Steve Lombardi. He said, well, you know what, man? He goes, I'm changing. Somebody figured out my combo. I got to change. The Halliburtons, you can set up. There's inside of them. You can reset the combination. And did my light just get on you, Troy?
No.
Did my light just shine up on you? Your face got real bright.
Oh no,
sorry. But so anyway, he reset his combo and closed it. And he came back from his match. They always do it, when you're at the match, in your match, because you can't do nothing. And he came back that time, and they had taken a lock and locked his bag to the ceiling, and had it open. All his clothes had fallen out, and I forgot what they threw. Oh, eggs! They were throwing. They were having.
Oh my God!
In there, and then he got mad because he thought it got picked. Then he figured it got picked. He changed it again. It got open again. Like 5 days in a row, they kept getting it open. And he couldn't figure it out that the guy riding with him, Lombardi, was the one, because he knew the combo. He was riding with him.
Oh my God!
Oh man!
He finally. I forgot what it was. Oh, they left. I think they left deer wasn't deer meat, but deer organs and shit inside his bag and closed it. They changed the combination on him.
Oh,
they closed it, so he had to go home and figure out, call the company or whatever. Figure for like a day in the hot ass trunk of the car, there was that deer guts and shit inside his bag. And so he quit after that. I mean, he just said, "Nah, that's it." So that's how brutal. That's how brutal they can be. Terry Taylor. One more quicker one. I'll let y'all get.
No, you're good.
No worries. You're good.
Terry Taylor. He rubbed the Bulldogs wrong. He rubbed a lot of people wrong. I love him to death. But he's another one. Just tells it like it is. He don't sugarcoat anything. And he said something that got them a little aggravated. And so when he was in the ring, he'd always wear a suit. I can tell y'all why he was the Red Rooster. I'll tell you all that later. But staying with this story, and it got to do with being cocky, because of the Rooster cocky. The Office that was a rib off The Office. Got him on that one. But anyway, he went in the ring. They cut. He wore suits all the time, which is what got him in trouble. Like I said, I'll tell that one later. But they cut his jackets right here around where you would have a regular shirt sleeve, each side, and then they cut his pants. What Sean used to call it, the seersucker suit, $2 tie. They cut his pants, but then they stitched it back together because he had it hanging on the wall. They stitched it on so you couldn't tell. So he come in after his bath, got showered, he was getting dressed. He puts his pants on and pop. They both popped, and he's got And you can't sell it when you get ribbed, because that's why they rib people. If you don't sell it, you're no fun to rib. So he's like, oh, nice, good pair of pants. That's as much as he did. And Davey walks by, nice Bermuda shorts. And then so he puts his jacket on. Actually, I'm sorry, they made it a tank top. They cut it right here.
Oh my God.
Pop. And then the Dynamite's, fucking nice tank top. Tank tops. but Terry got so pissed off about it. That's just shit when they didn't like it. That's a little brutal because a rib is to be funny, but when it costs you money, it's it's not funny.
Yeah, no.
Trying to make it. Okay, what we got?
So after the Rockers split, did your relationship with Sean change at all?
It did kind of gradually because at first the split, when the barbershop window, I got in some legal troubles right afterwards. Mm-hmm. So for 6 months we couldn't follow up the storyline. But when we got back, we were to lead in, which we actually did do, go into the Rumble against each other, and we was actually going to carry it on to WrestleMania. But yeah, we were doing fine with each other. I mean, with the distance, and it's just the only times, it was just a couple of times, like I said, and I've been honest about it, Sean just did a couple of things that pissed me off a little too much. Mainly when he would treat me the way he was treating fans. And I even told him, stop doing that. I don't think he realized he was doing it, but he would do that, and I'd get as much. I mean, we did get in a fight one time, if you'd call it that. Unfortunately, Sean at that time couldn't fight well. And I hate saying that, but I mean,
yeah,
I'll say he was persistent. He wouldn't quit though; he kept coming. But and that was again something he was. I've told this. I think I didn't tell on his biography that just showed. I told it a lot. Mm-hmm. But I think they just cut out some of this. But anyway, he was, it had to do with Roddy Piper stirring up some shit. And, Sean he was getting all happy about what Roddy was saying. So when I told Roddy, we had girls in the room, I was like, Roddy, kayfabe, but we got girls in the room. Shouldn't we? We're looking up to him. So, it was like, we got girls there. I had 3 girls in there. And we were in Denver. There was 3 of our good girls because there was a lot of them in Denver. But they, just sitting there, and really they were smartened up from what they had seen. The girl, you can get your finish before you get it by going to what they used to call the ring rats. The rats had the finish before you did because they would see the agents, and the agents would drop. But they were sitting there, and I thought, well, let's talk business where we don't have people around. That's why I said to Roddy, and Sean shoved me. Don't disrespect Roddy. And then it got ugly from there. That was the only time it got physical. The other times, just kind of, thought he was an ass, and kind of, really didn't even verbalize it. Just you could tell when we were like, kind of think towards each other. But we made all up, and I don't think we fell out again until '96 when I had to do the New Rockers. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Well, at least we ain't got cut off yet, though. Yeah, I'm sitting out here in a car in backwoods. Might as well have a flip phone, a little damn 4G phone. But they gave us the New Rockers, me and Al Snow. Mm-hmm. Explained it as really silly, one of the stuck in the 80s type thing.
Yeah.
Which okay, I was like, man, with the Rockers thing itself, that was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty popular.
It was damn good.
Let's don't tarnish it with this silly shit. And Al's a great worker, and I wasn't bad. So I'm thinking, why would you give us some corny ass shit when we can go out? It's hard to, we did it, but it's hard to act cheesy and then yet still have a great match. You know what I mean? Because you're silly. You're being silly. How are you going to be great at God? He's like, he's so stuck in the 80s. He's high-fiving Marty because he hit the ropes right or something like that. How are you going to entertain him with a good match? We might as well do the bushwhacker thing. We're just yay ho and lick faces, and go and do that for 15 minutes. Stop putting them down. I love them to death. Both of them, they're good friends. Mm-hmm. But just saying, they had to at that point in their career, shit, what they did 30 years in. I was happy for them that was their character. Mm-hmm. Yay, with the arm. licking, and that's pretty much, he did the battering ram. Then that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that was like their only offense.
But they know how to keep the crowd in with, just like Ric Flair, limited stuff, but knew when to do it. Jake always said it. Jake the Snake had always taught us that is, if you know what you're doing and when to do it, you don't have to do 1,000 moves. I can go out and have a match right now and do 3 moves and have them standing on their feet. And Jake could too. I mean, he could do that today. I mean, he's that good with the psychology, which is everything. The psychology is everything. What I was going to say with the new Rockers was that, Sean, I'm like also happy for Al, because Al deserved to get a break.
Yeah.
He'd come in as Avatar or something like that and run a couple other things. And he just, I don't know that he was nervous, but something had just, he slipped off the top rope one time, and he had somebody horrible to work with another time. And so his tryout matches just didn't do good. And him and I actually had a match against each other in Smoky Mountain. And I think they were just trying to check me out, see if I was still in shape and could work. Because I'd been gone for a couple of years or something. And then, I had to work with Al, and man, we had a great match. And WWE saw it back in the WWF. They saw it and they're like, well, shit, look at Al Snow. I mean, they're supposed to be checking me out. But so that's what brought Al in. They brought Al in. And the way we worked so good together in that match, they decided to tag us. But like I said, now you got 2 really good workers, and you're going to give them a corny ass gimmick, a non-workers kind of gimmick. And I was going to go with it, mainly because I thought I loved Al to death, and I'm not going to mess up, him getting a ride. I'll be fine. I mean, he's going to suck for however long this thing goes. But Sean come up, and I've told this before, and I think Sean knows it. I feel like he walked up, he goes, "How you like the new gimmick?" And I figured he was going to not like it either, because it put a tarnish on what we built, even though he's moved on to the Heartbreak Kid. And so I didn't answer right away because I didn't know what to answer. I didn't want to put it down, but I was thinking he's probably not happy with it either. And he goes, "I thought you would like it. It was my idea." Ooh. And I was like, "Motherfucker, you got me again." When he said that, I knew. I'm like, because I think, and I've said this again, and I believe it might not be true, but I'm pretty sure it is. He was trying so hard to distance himself from the Rockers, because we had made such an impact that everywhere he went, people would ask. I got asked about him everywhere I went, but they would ask him. But what he hated hearing was, "Why did you get such a big push and he didn't? Y'all were equally as good." He hated hearing that. I could tell, because I heard it one time and saw a look on his face. Plus, people had told me. And, so I think that's the new Rockers was, it was the original reason was to separate us. But Al Snow did it good. I mean, he's all into it because that's his break in, right? And Leif Cassidy, doing the old silly, trying to be a rocker like the Rockers were. And so we figured out how to go with it, and it started getting over. I don't know how, but it started getting over. And then they came to us, the agent said, maybe it's y'all got to be a little tougher. I mean, too much clowning. So we thought, we were actually like, good, man. F that clowning. So we started getting a little more hardcore and doing a little, higher impact moves in the ring. And man, it was getting over in a different, differently than the other thing was. And then they came to us again and said, "That ain't quite it either. Can you find something in between silly and something hardcore?" Okay, well. And so we wrestled in Worcester, Mass, one of the places that you get dirty by doing autograph sessions. and Vince only went to TV tapings. He never really went to house shows. I mean, he might have gone once in a while. He always went to the Madison Square Garden, but they videoed that anyway. It was never just a house show. They always taped it. But so he shows up in Worcester, and everybody got like, "Damn, Vince is at a house show." And the night before, actually that day earlier, before it was a day show. So we did a day show in Worcester, and then that night we were in Boston for the night show. It was a double shot.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a Spencer's, like what do you call it, novelty type store, Spencer's in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a full-way tag. It was us against the Smoking Guns, the Godwins, and Skip and what was Cloudy? Remember the second one, not the original, but Cloudy, Jim Shoulders.
Oh my God, what the hell was his name? That's gonna make me mad.
I think it was Jim Shoulder or Jim shit. I can't think either now. Sorry about the cousin.
No, you're good.
Oh no, you're fine, dude.
Oh, we cuss a lot on this show, so you're good.
Okay. I was just trying to straighten some dirty ways out. As Taker said something the other day on the biography show with Sean's. He goes, man, when I met the Rockers, they tried me a little bit with their, antics. They're fun-loving guys, and they played with me a little bit. He goes, but to be honest, they were kind of peckerheads. So I thought, okay, so I'm getting called a peckerhead because Sean was kind of a peckerhead, and Mark really didn't like him too much, and me and Mark, we hung out all the time and stuff. So when I heard him say they were peckerheads, I'm like, oh damn, I just got thrown in with it. But it's like I've told Sean so many times, when we go to the clubs, he would always be rude to people. They'd know who we are, and he didn't want to sign autographs. The girls would come running, and he could have his pick. And so he would be rude to the ones he didn't want, like they're in the way, like, whatever. And I told him one time, I said, Sean, please stop this shit at the club, because when you're ugly to these people, it doesn't go as Sean was mean. It's the Rockers were mean.
Yep.
It's just like when you win or lose a match, they don't say Sean got the pin. They say the Rockers got the pin. The Rockers won.
Guilty by association.
Like when you're a team like that. So that's what Taker did when he said they were pecker. No, man, come on. but what was I first telling y'all? Now I lost what I was. Oh, was it so Vince is at, we was at Spencer's. We bought 2 stick ponies, like for the Smoking Guns, and little, them little plastic cowboy hats, little bitty
mm-hmm.
that for the smoke. We figured out what we were gonna do with them in the ring. And then for the Godwins, we bought 2 stuffed animals, 2 pigs on leashes. And then for Chris Candido and Sonny, evidently even the fans knew that they were dating. So we bought a ball and chain for him.
Oh my God.
And when during the match, so we started out with the Smoking Guns. I was in the ring first. He comes over, and we had like a bag of tricks, right? Sort of like Jake's bag with the snake, the bag like that with the, and we pull out the stick ponies and the hats, and we get around and run around in circles, and they throwing a fit. They're the baby faces, I believe, at that time. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew what anybody was, but we did that. The crowd was loving it, right? They're like dying laughing, and so we did a little bit of the match, and finally one of the Godwins got tagged in. I tag Al. He reaches in the bag and throws me one of the pigs, and we walked around the ring with the pig. And the Godwins were even laughing. They were in the corner laughing their ass. I would say it was probably 12,000 people in that Worcester, I forget, county arena, whatever the hell it was called. But that whole place was dying laughing. The one we were concerned with, it was like an inside joke with Chris and Sonny, Chris Candido. We knew they would get it. But so it was like the fans aren't going to understand it. But when they tagged in and pulled out the ball and chain for Chris, the whole place died laughing. And they understood. They know that Chris and him doing the same too. So the ball and chain. So and then we finished up the match, and the crowd cheered us. They enjoyed. When they're entertained like that, they cheer everybody. And so I thought we did a great job. We did. I mean, that's the name. The game was you entertain the crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Entertain them for 15 minutes. What more can you do?
Yeah.
And so we go to the back. Vince was there. He calls us over. Marty, Al, let me speak with you. And he would come over and he's like, we've been trying to adjust this, and that wasn't it either. So we're like, well, what do you want? We've done hardcore, we've done silly comedy, we've done in between. Now we've done this and everything. He goes, I don't know, just keep trying. And so when me and Al walked away, I'm like, what the hell do we do now? I don't understand what we're doing wrong. Al nailed it. He goes, we're not doing anything wrong. They don't want us to get over. And that's pretty much the truth. You're never supposed to get over. You can remember that was the distance out Sean and the Rockers. That's not supposed to get over. I'm sure when Sean was watching it get over, he's going, damn. All right, what else we got?
Question for you. Saturday night's main event taping, the 2 out of 3 falls match with the Hart Foundation. The rope broke. You guys originally were supposed to win the tag titles, but they never aired the episode.
We did win the tag title.
Yeah.
Always remember this, because it's if you not from this point on, pay attention to how they say it. They always say we're going to win the tag titles. It's only one title. It's tag belts. It's 2 belts. It's one title. But everybody says that we're coming after that tag team titles. The tag team titles. No, it's tag team title.
Okay. So what?
But I mean, it's funny to me.
Oh no, that's fine. So
for journalists on there that they hire now, so it's fun watching them make a mistake.
So what was
anyway? So yeah, the rope broke. I think on the second fall, but whatever fall it was, Brett had Brett and Sean were in, and Brett, growing up in the business, he knew what to do because that one was being taped. With Saturday Night Main Event, they did one live show and then taped for the next week or 2 weeks. We see them every third week, and but Brett knew it was being taped, so he just said, "Stay right here." And he's telling the rep, "We're going to stay right here till it's fixed," because they can edit it, and edit that down. And they sat there for as long as they could, and I forgot who was reffing. Was it Joey Morello? No, whoever it was though. Fonzie, I think Alfonso, Bill Alfonso.
Yep.
He said in the back, they got the earpiece in. They said, "No, just keep going with the match. I'm not gonna fix the rope right now." So we finished up the match with one. I think the top one side broke. There's my little ass right there, 220 pounds, 5'11", one of the smallest guys there is. You got Earthquake, you got Typhoon, you got what's his name, Bam Bigelow, you got the one with the 5 count. What was his name? Bundy. You got all these 400-pound giants hitting that corner. My little ass goes in, pop, and the rope breaks. During our title match. And so, I always talk about the bad luck. You got 4 people and you got 4 corners. You got 1 in 16 chances of being the one that's going to break. But so, we won. We ended up, getting a hand raised at the end, and the next 3 shows, because it was that was a Saturday night. Sunday, we did double shot. Was it Monday? We did something day, and then you went home on the Monday. But we 3 different places we were defending the belts. Now it is belts. They Vince called me and said it was an issue. I heard some things happened on the plane, which some things did. We flew from Dallas to Corpus Christi, and we had an issue with one of the passengers that didn't go well for them. And our name came up as usual. So, I mean, I think Vince considered that, but in along with it, how it was going to look at the story that we were told 3 different stories. We were told that Anvil the reason they were giving us belts, he was quitting, but then he said, "No, I won't quit. I'm staying." So they weren't going to acknowledge it. I don't believe that's true, because Anvil would have told me. Him and I are pretty good friends. Or Brett, they would have told us that. The other story was the ropes. The rope broke in the NBC. Dick, what was it? Ingersoll, whatever. Dick, the president there for NBC Sports. They said he didn't want to air it because it didn't look good for TV. And then, of course, I got the call from Vince that was asking questions about what went wrong that weekend. So, yeah, you got 3 stories laying there. I don't know which one to pick up.
So, what was going to be the long-term plan for the title run?
I don't know.
Oh, you never found out. That sucks.
No, that's as much as we got. We figured,
man,
as hard as we had worked to that point, and we would never. I think we worked with every team there and had great matches. I can't think of any team we didn't have a great match with. I mean, we even had great matches with Powers of Pain, and that's the only reason I say that, because we're the little guys, like 5'11" for me, 6 foot for Sean, at 220 pounds. There's Barbarian, 300 pounds, 6'4", and muscle up. Warlord about 6'4" and 305, ripped. I mean, he had abs. Just strong guys and just muscled up, and there's the Rockers. So, but we went around. That was actually some of our favorite matches, man, and we got 5-star ratings on them. So with them, even Typhoon and Earthquake, even though that was hard to, what were they called, natural disasters?
Yep.
That was a hard one to pull off, man. We're not going to be bumping. They're not. We are. But and we thought, well, we'll do some of the same stuff we did with Powers of Pain, because those were big old boys, but they could bump. Typhoon and Earthquake couldn't really bump around. If they bump, it's going to be a while before they get up. We still had a good, but we didn't go long with them. I think we had about 3 matches. I think the office said, this is not as good a quality as they do with other guys. Let's go ahead and change this up. But let's see, who else? Power and Glory. We had great matches with them. Demolition, loved working with them. Loved working with all of them. I was just saying, some of the better matches. The best matches we had was with Orient Express, with Pat Tanaka. That Royal Rumble '91, I think it was probably the best tag match ever that I'd been involved in. And so we loved working with them, and because we worked with them in AWA days, so we actually dropped the title championship to them, the tag title to them in the AWA. So we worked with them when they were bad company, and we were the Midnight Rockers. And both of them are so good, Pat and Paul Diamond. It's just funny though, Sato was the original of the Orient Express. And when I got the damn, see, I told you, mosquitoes pulling my hair. I was looking to see one of my girls pass out in the back seat. But Orient Express and Sato ended up going back to Japan. I guess he become the booker over there or something for New Japan or whatever it was. And so they got Paul Diamond, because him and Pat were real good together. Put a mask on him, and he's now Kato, the Orient Express. two Oriental guys, but except one is American. But them and Hart Foundation and the Rougeau brothers, man, we had great matches with them. We went hour matches. We'd go with them. And it was like most falls, and we'd always end up 1 fall each at the end of the time, the hour, 1 hour. What was it called? Marathon match or something other? Iron Man tag match. But it would always, for like, we got in good shape, because for like 3 weeks we did that 1 hour every damn night. And on double shots, that's 2 hours. We had to do an hour today and an hour that night. And then we'd go like generally 5 minutes or so, but there was a couple of times we went 10, 15, 20. So we do an hour 20 with them. You got to be able to work good to put that much time in and keep the crowd interested and keep the light on. This is probably the worst ever, man. Sitting in a damn car.
Man.
Backwoods, Alabama, getting mosquitoes from my hair.
So do you have like a match that is like your favorite match or the most fun match that you've ever worked?
The favorite one would be the Denver match with Shawn Michaels. Probably the best match I've ever been. I like the Kurt Angle one on SmackDown once. And what made it more appealing to me was the fact that Kurt and I had just met that day. He was a collegiate wrestler, did pretty good, but did good in the nationals. A couple years, first freshman and sophomore year. Then tried to play football, and that didn't go well. But him being a collegiate wrestler, I actually saw him win the gold medal in the Olympics. I think it was '96 Olympics, and I couldn't believe, a couple years later. And I think it was '96 Olympics. It might have been '92, but whatever it was, now he's in our business, and man, he climbed fast. Because most collegiate wrestlers don't adapt well.
Yeah.
Because you're so set in certain things you can't let happen. It's just a hard adjustment. But shit, he man, quick,
skyrocketed.
Yeah, I mean, what an athlete! And when we worked together that night, it was just like working with water. And what I mean by that is everywhere you're supposed to be, or anytime you grab each other, you're already adjusting to each other. It's all set for the next thing you're going to do. I was surprised. I mean, I had at that point, probably that would have been about 16 years in the business, and he no more than that. It was in 2005. So, what year is this?
We're in 2021, sir.
Oh, damn. Hey, that was like I already had about 25 years in at that point, and here he is. Like, I think at that time he must have had about 7 years, and he was. Yeah. I couldn't believe he was that good. I'm like, wow, man, I enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. We went in the back and hugged, and he had even told me, he goes, man, I got to work out with you sometimes. You blew me up because none of these younger guys half your age do that.
It's a hell of a compliment right there.
Yeah, coming from him, hell yeah, because that's an in-shape man and strong. When he grabs you, even though he's working it, you still can feel like, oh man, if he wanted to crush me right now. If y'all see something that looks like an eagle fly by or an owl, it's just the mosquitoes. That's a big one. I think it's a state bird here. There was a big one just flew by right here. If you saw the light go dark, that's why it was a big. But yeah, Sean, the match in Denver, because we was going around before the Royal Rumble, getting the match down for that, which sucked that we got it down so good. And Denver was like right before we went to Sacramento to for the Royal Rumble. And they back then, I'm sure they still do. They'd have you get your match down before the pay-per-view because they wanted the pay-per-view to be perfect. And I would always get upset, Sean and I and some of the boys like, well, what about the people in Denver and Salt Lake and where was it, Reno, Nevada? What about the 3 house shows that just saw that? And they're like, we ain't worried about them 20,000 people. We're worried about the million. But I mean, still, it's like, well, those people are going to watch it and feel cheated. Like, well, we saw this. But that's the way they did it. And so we got it down, though. That night, man, we did a jump start, and the people got up on their feet at the beginning, because there was a jump start, bang, bang, bang all over the ring. 15-minute mark, they were still standing. They never sat. I mean, we were going at it. And for the first time in Denver, they always call it the mile high seat, and they talk about, the air is so thin that you blow up quick, because the air is different. We always thought, that's bullshit, because we'd never felt it. And we've been wrestling there since AWA, since '86. And that 15-minute mark, when the announcer said 15 minutes, me and Sean looked at each other because we knew we still had a bit to go. We're like, oh shit. but what happens though, and this is something that you just can't teach at schools, you connect with the crowd, and as long as you keep them connected, it's like you're all plugged into the same circuit. And they felt us starting to drag, and they could read. Our job is to read body language so that we know what they're thinking, how they're feeling. If they're leaning forward, we got them into it. If they're leaning back and got their hand on it, you got to do something. But you got to read body language. That's a big part of it that I like to teach when I do seminars in schools, my wrestling schools. But the crowd that night must have felt us because they started cheering. And we got that second win when they did that and finished out our match. And even though Sean went over, they were he was supposed to be the bad guy. I guess they were so entertained with it, as far as thrilling, not the laughing kind of thing. They stood the whole way when he walked back to the curtain, and then same with me. They stood the whole way and cheered because they loved what they just saw. And to me, the biggest accolade you could get is when you go through the curtain in the back to the dressing room, and all the boys are standing there and giving you, and girls, and giving you a standing ovation. That's the highest honor in this business that you can get, in my opinion. And we both got that. but as soon as I come through, I'm like, gosh, damn! I almost didn't want to do it because I was dead ass out of breath. And I saw a table, and I was like, oh, thank y'all! And I ran and scooted up under that table. I didn't want to do it. And I hear this, and I stopped because I think I'm on my sounds aren't matching my breathing. So I stopped, and then I hear, I'm like, that ain't me. And I look over, Sean found the table. He was on there doing the thing. And that's when you know you left it all in the ring. They say we left it all on the field, leave it all on the court. We left it all. We were both spent when we come back. Awesome. And it was like here in Blackjack Lanza, the agent. Back then there was no cell phones. The payphone on the wall. He come and agents called in and reported how the matches were they good, were they bad, to Vince. And he didn't see me laying there, and he called. He goes, "You're going to have to put this match on last. There's no way anybody can follow it." I've never, in 30 years of wrestling, I've never seen a match that good. I mean, it was that good. Then the day of the Rumble, damn it, they interjected Sherry, and they wanted a couple spots. Well, they just threw the rhythm off. We just got it down perfect. 3 days. And then and nothing wrong with Sherry. I mean, that was the storyline part of it. Remember when I hit her with the mirror trying to hit Sean? So it made sense. But why didn't you send her on the road with us? What the hell was Virtual Man? And it just didn't go quite as good as it did. That was so disappointing, the Rumble. People said it was a good match, but we both knew it could have been better, because you just threw the whole timing and rhythm off. Like I said, the one is Sherry to slap one of us, Sean at one point, and come in for a save at another point. It just threw everything off. But anyway, that was the Rumble. I forgot what the question was.
Just your favorite match, which you answered for us. So.
Yeah, that was the one in Denver with Sean and I. Somebody actually taped it and had taped it and heard me do this on an interview, and they sent it to my Facebook. By the way, y'all can check me out on Facebook. I think I'm at my limit on the friends because they only let me get 5,000 because they I guess they stopped doing that little blue bird thing that says you're legit, and they would get as many. But followers, you can have all the followers. So, and you can message me back and forth, even if you're just following. And I like interacting with fans and stuff. So y'all can do that. Just remember to do that. Stop cussing me out. No. I mean, I don't even mind that. Sometimes I'm like, I had one the other day on one of my posts. I took a picture of Swaggy. Swaggy's my cat, and my son really, but he's officially a cat. And his 9 lives that he eats, or Frisky's 9 lives, or whatever, Karina, whoever makes it. He's got a cat that looks just like him, so I put him next to it and took a picture. Said Swaggy endorses this. There was a lot of cool compliments and comments, and then you got your haters, right? And this one guy goes, "Damn, look at that blanket on that bed there. That's got to be 1985. I'm thinking of all the shit, you have opportunity to either fry my ass or talk to somebody you've been watching on TV, and this is what you come up with. That's the best you could do. Look at the 1985 blanket. Oh my, there was no need for me to fry him up. I mean,
he kind of fried himself on that one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What else is happening? Are y'all going to be able to send me a link? I put this like on my Facebook.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Since that biography with Sean come out, it was showed like 6 times now. They re-air it. I think they showed it again this Sunday, right before they do Bret Hart's, which makes sense, because a big part of his was about Bret, and his would be a big part of Bret's about Sean. Maybe I'll slip in on some of those too. But I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the biography. Only problem I had was when they called me in for the interview, for the biography. Man, I had just got the left ankle surgery. I had reconstructive surgery. I mean, it was like the 7th week, so I'm still not up and moving around yet. And, I'm glad I'm getting the surgeries because I haven't had good ankles in 15 years. But so I got the first one, and as my luck would have it, 7, 8 weeks later, they called me for this interview. That means I've been sitting around the house, having a couple beers here and there, just sitting in a chair or laying down with my leg up in the air. She's just sitting there getting fat. I could hear myself getting fatter. I was hearing my skin stretch. It was a pandemic going on, so I had gotten a tooth knocked out, messing around with some of the kids at the school, and I couldn't go to the dentist to get a tooth put in. I couldn't have got that time, and my hair couldn't go to everything. Not that it's good now. But I mean, it was just where you saw the interview. If you see the interview, I mean, it was just there. It was just the worst showing, but it would still come out cool. I've gotten so many calls from it and business stuff, that I appreciate. And honestly, me and my brother Gino was telling me that let's see what Sean's going, because back in the day we had to worry with Sean. You never knew what he was going to do, so we're like, let's see what he says about us. Because he actually told some stories that weren't true back in the day. He's corrected most of them. But again, we didn't know what it was going to be. And then, watching, I was like, wow. He was actually pretty much spot on. Even when he was being honest, in the past, he still just remembered it wrong. Don't want to say he was lying or anything, but he just remembered it a little bit wrong. But he was so good on that, man. I wanted to call him, but I lost my phone. and tell him thank you for being good, and he said some really nice things. So I'd like to say that nice things about him. Sean, thank you, and appreciate you coming around and being good to me finally. Not that he was ever an asshole to me. We used to have the best time, man. For 7 years, we were on the road together. Starting with AWA days. And 300 days a year, we rode, rent a car, rode in the same car. We'd room together. We'd eat together. We'd go to the gym together. We were 24/7. And the other one, we got WWF, the other tag team. I'm just calling it that because that's what it was at the time. Yeah. The tag teams. I mean, Davey Boy and Dynamite were the first ones, and the Rougeau brothers. They were next. They told us, they said, yeah, and even the Hearts, Brett told, you guys are together after about a month or so, 6 weeks, seeing us together day and night, like twins. They were like, y'all can't do that here. And we're like, oh, why? And they were like, you're going to get tired of each other and you're going to have problems and it's going to ruin the tag team. And we just did 2 years or a year and a half at AWA, we're on the road as much. We went 300 days a year, but it's probably 200. But still we'd done it, and we went and had no problem. The only problem we had, like I said, that fight in Denver, and that was just because Sean was finally becoming believing in his gimmick. He was believing the hype, I guess you would say. And he had told me that he wanted to eventually split off and because he wanted to be the world champion, which I got no problem with that. And, I told him, I said, that's fine. And at this point, I'm happy with this. Just let me know when you're ready to split up. Don't spring it on me. Of course, he sprung it on me anyway. That barbershop window said it all. Somebody, they asked me in that biography, they said, did that super kick look stiff? Did he lay it in? I said, oh, he got me back for Denver. They said, window, Phil. I said, look, man, I ain't feel that window. He caught me right up under. I mean, it raised me up. probably went up to my toes.
Oh, you could tell.
Yeah.
Stiff.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, was that?
Just that was a stiff kick right to the mush.
Oh, it was.
And-
I think it was a little bit of intention involved.
Mm.
You know what? And you know what else was crazy about the window itself? They one of the guys in the back, the production guys, came over to me. I was bleeding a little bit.
Yeah.
Not bad at all, considering you just went through a window. But it was supposed to be sugar glass, like they have in Hollywood. And I had some cuts from where I'm laying on the window seal there. There's a little bit of little stabs, like little puncture, little bitty, from fragments cutting me in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. But he comes up and he goes, "You're okay, you're okay." And I'm like, "Yeah." What, should I not be? He goes, "Oh, I got to tell you something." I'm like, "What?" He says, "We had 3 window panes. Because if you mess up, they got an extra one." Which means if we'd have messed up, we'd have to go out in front of that same crowd and do that same shit.
Oh.
That would have been embarrassing as hell. But that's how they did it back there.
Mhm.
But back then. But so I remember understanding. And he said 3 window. He goes, 2 of them were sugar glass. One was real window. And he goes, they forgot to mark the windows.
Oh.
And I was just looking at him like, yeah, I am bleeding. You're not supposed to bleed from sugar glass. And they said, well, I mean, don't tell us. We all figured we had 2 out of 3 chances of getting it right, and we didn't.
Oh.
And I wanted to tell him, if you knew about my luck, you would have done that right.
Oh, man.
But and they were so apologetic. He was one dude in particular. He was so apologetic. I'm like, no, hey man, no harm, no foul. Don't worry about it. He was afraid I was going to, say something, and he might have lost his job or something. But it was all good.
Speaking of injuries,
that was like 20. What? It was in 1991. The end of it. So how many years? That almost 20, 30, almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
God dang.
Unbelievable.
And it's still talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling my brother the other day, I'm like, think of something that's going on today that in the year 2051 will still be talked about.
Yeah. Yep.
That barbershop was lasting. I'm glad. I mean, it's got me a few extra bookings here and there.
There you go.
Me and Beefcake, when we go international, he's now brought the set, a barbershop. He brings the set, or he has them make one where we're at. And we'll go and take pictures, photo ops in front of the barbershop. And bruh, you talk about a line. I mean,
yeah.
People love that. I think what I'm wanting to do, and I talked about this, is trying to figure out how to get that set, down cheap in cost, so you can travel around with it, and the sugar glass window, get as many, so get the cost down, and then do a video where fans can come up and throw me through the window. And then got a video of it, and you replace the window, but you got to find out how much time it takes, because I'm sure there'd be a lineup if you're at a convention doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll go have cuts every damn where. I might cut some of the fat off my face. What else we got? Got any fan questions? Anybody call? Do y'all fans do call in?
Sometimes, yeah, we get a couple. We weren't able to get any calls for us, but I think we have just one more question for you though.
Okay.
So you were talking about your ankle being hurt. How many surgeries have you had, and what was the worst injury you had?
As far as the ankles, the left one, I got it was reconstructive. That was after they told my friend was the doctor. He was one of the best in the world, Dr. McCluskey, Dr. Lee McCluskey. He studied under Dr. Andrews. Everybody knows him. That's probably the best doctor in the world. They started out at Houston Clinic here in Columbus, Georgia. Across the river. I'm in Alabama. But he is great. He's I think every time I lie, the light goes out. Or if I'm too truthful. I don't think I've lied yet. I'm trying to keep up with that. But anyway, so Lee he told me, he said 6 months. We played football together in high school. So he knew me from that. And he had told me, he said 6 months. He didn't like doing both ankles at the same time. I wanted to do them both to get it over with.
Yeah.
And he didn't like doing that. So he said, what I'll do, he goes, because I know you, and you'll have it. Generally 6 months it takes to be ready to rehab it through. He goes, I know you'll work there. He goes, I figure you'll be ready in 4 months. I'll do your other ankle in 4 months. I rehabbed it the hell out of it. Like he said, I was ready in 3 months, but he still waited 4 because he was like, something ain't right. He goes, he can't. He goes, no matter how hard you rehab it, bone only grafts back together at a certain rate, 10 weeks before, because they had to shave bone off and put bolts and screws in the left one. And, you got to wait for that bone to heal. But so at the 4 month, he went ahead and did the other, which was joint replacement. And that's just this Friday, tomorrow, I'll go see him, and that'll be 6 weeks. And to me, it's almost ready to go. So we'll see what he says. I would have thought the joint replacement would have been the harder one, because they cut your old joint out and put the titanium thing or whatever it is they put in there. And shoot, it is healed way quicker than the reconstructive. But and lucky, like I said, lucky that a friend of mine is actually one of the best foot and ankle surgeons in the world. He does a lot of work, free, what do you call it, pro bono stuff. But he goes to the other countries. He goes over to Africa a lot. When they had that disaster in Haiti, I think it was a few years ago, he went down and helped out there. And he's just a good Christian guy, man, super guy, love him to death. Anybody, if you want your ankles done right, and it's a mess. Lee's the man. Well, I call him Lee. I should be saying Dr. McCluskey, Leland McCluskey is who you want to see. So that's, I'm looking at, I don't know. He'll tell me tomorrow what he thinks. Am I ready? Am I ready to start jogging yet? He told me, he said, I'm going to get you fixed to where you can walk around in no pain. He had 4 kids, boys. I think they all were fans. Like, he had pictures of us on the wall at home, and he was like, "No way, you knew Marty? Ain't no way." So, he watched, and he thought it was cool seeing me, jumping off top ropes and doing all the stuff we did. But he said, well, I'm gonna fix you where you can walk around in no pain. He goes, but can you not, if you go back to wrestling, can you not jump off top ropes anymore? Can you just stay grounded? We call it walk and talk. I'm like, yeah, bro. I was going to do that, just do some walk and talk matches. But after going through this, I think I'm just going to do seminars and wrestling schools and podcasts.
There you go.
I'll have a good time with that.
There you go. Oh, you always could be a manager of somebody too. So
something like that, yeah. I can manage a team Jannetty versus Team Michaels.
There you go.
And that would be fun. I could work a match with Sean. I'd be okay with that, and I think he'd be okay with me.
Mm-hmm.
Even at 917 years old each. But all right, brothers, are we good?
Yeah, like I said, we can't thank you enough for coming on here.
Stay in touch. Don't let this be the end. We'll stay in touch. Y'all got my number, and you got my Facebook, I think. We got Messenger.
Yep, for sure.
Or whatever it is. But yeah, let's stay in touch.
All right.
Everybody out there, hit me up on Facebook for work or play.
There you go.
No work or pleasure.
All right. Well, if we can just get you to give us a little bumper. I'm Marty Jannetty. You're listening to the Rundown Wrestling Network.
Okay. What's it called, though? The Roughneck?
Rundown Wrestling.
Rundown.
What
was that thing that Rock played in that movie? Was it in the Rundown?
That was the Rundown,
yes. Yeah. The Rundown Wrestling. Is it called Rundown Wrestling Podcast?
Rundown Wrestling Network.
Okay. Ray, let me know when.
Go ahead.
You got that rocker, MJ, in the house, otherwise known as Marty Jannetty. You know how we do rock and roll, starting and strolling, and we're doing it right here on the Rundown Wrestling Network. Keep on rocking. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marty. It was a very big pleasure to meet you and do this.
Send me the link and I can put it on my Facebook.
Will do.
Absolutely.
Yep. Hey, brothers, y'all take care.
All right.
You
Have a
too,
good
sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, brothers. Bye.
Yep, bye now.